Let's get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Today on the Prenup Podcast with Hilary Hebrank, lawyer and fitness instructor. Today, we have another episode of the Prenup Podcast, and I'm here with Hilary Hebrank, who I was introduced to by Ariel Patrick. The day that I put out the first pod, like 90 seconds later, I get a text message from Ariel. Oh my gosh, have you met my friend Hilary? If you haven't, you need to. You have so many things to talk about. And she instantly connected us.
She did. She sent me a screenshot of that text message that she sent to you. And she says, Lilli, friend, dropped Prenup Podcast. Listen.
That's it. I love it.
Okay.
And the reason she did this is because, Hilary, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So I am an attorney. I'm oddly enough not a prenup attorney. I call myself a contract monkey. I work in entertainment, mostly TV and film. But I have a startup called Closet, which does roommate agreements, cohabitation agreements, and joint ownership agreements. So it's a prenup without a marriage. So a prenup is for when you're getting married. The cohabitation agreement is for when you've decided to live together, not get married.
I love this so much. I wish I had lived with a partner before we didn't get married. And, it wasn't a bad, I just left. But I really wish we had had more of an agreement because I still laugh. I'm like, oh, that one coffee table. And so, yeah, tell us a little bit more about what your target market is, how you came up with the company, all that.
So I'm going to start with how we came up with the company. I met my partner, Alexa. She's fantastic. Through a mutual friend. We actually met at a friend's wedding. And she lived with her partner at the time. And we became friends. We were texting. And one day she calls me and she goes, I don't know what to do. He came home and I thought we were getting married or he was going to ask me to marry him. And he told me, you have to get out. I don't want to do this anymore. Get out.
You have to get out?
You have to get out because she lived in his house. And nothing infuriates me more than when another lawyer doesn't understand the law. It's so infuriating because the first thing I said was, what address is on your license? Where do you file your taxes from? She goes, this address. And I'm like, great. You're a resident, not a guest. He wants you out. He can evict you. That'll take a minimum of 30 days and thousands of dollars. And that's a minimum of 30 days. In New York, it takes a lot longer. They were in another state at the time. He's litigious, so I'm not going to name names or specifics. And I said to her, tell him, or I will tell him, you're not a resident, you're not a guest, you're a resident. And we are happy to get you out ASAP, but we need until the weekend. It's a Tuesday. No one can do anything on a Tuesday. What? So a couple days later, I called her to check in on her. And then I just said casually, hey, are you okay if I use you as the basis of just an online know your rights site where people can click on and be like, hey, I live with my boyfriend, I live with my girlfriend, whomever, they're trying to throw me out. What do I do? And she said, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And then she settled in, called me back and said, no, let's do a business. Let's go into business together. If you can write the contracts, I can help with the design and the connections and getting it out there. And I was just like, you know what? I mean, it's not that I wasn't doing anything, but I thought, sure, I wasn't seriously dating anyone at the time. It's kind of I have all this time. Sure, let's do it. It's needed.
Especially also in major metro cities, because I feel like a lot of people, especially this past year that I've been chatting with, one of the things that's so interesting to me is I definitely see people in relationships who know that they shouldn't be in the relationship,
but have a great apartment.
Yes.
Have a great apartment.
Or I don't know how to get out of this lease, or quite literally looking at when their lease ends with their partner.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I will wait to break up with them until, a month before our lease expires, or whatever it might be. And which is crazy, but it's true.
So have you heard of these people who will laughingly say, and especially, how hot summers in New York can get if you don't have central AC or AC at all.
Yep.
Where they're like, oh, no, I'll sleep with someone for air conditioning. And I'm just like, people will live with someone for air conditioning. It's bananas. It is insane the things that you hear people that
The
are
rent
willing
is
to
too
do.
damn high. What?
It is. It's like the rent's too high, or I was living all the way downtown, but I work in Midtown, or I was living all the way uptown, but I'm in Hudson Yards.
Mhm.
And I started dating a guy, and he, is at BlackRock, so he's got a place right in Hudson Yards. So I'm moving in with him because my lease ended. You've been dating him for 3 months. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, well, it's his place, and he was so great about it. Oh,
Okay,
it's his place.
I'm
Oh,
trying
it's
to
his place.
remember.
Got it.
I'm trying to remember there recently I saw online a statistic. It's like vetted about like vouched for, but it was basically like the 8 reasons people get married, and love was number 3, and financial security was number 1.
Yep. I'd 1,000% buy that.
And what I find so interesting is so many people when they're like, even Friday night I was at dinner, and this really smart guy, I was sat across from him, really nice, just went to Wharton,
Oh,
the whole shebang. He's sitting there, he's engaged. He's like, I think prenups are great. I'm like, so are you gonna get one? He goes, no, my fiance and I were not like that. I go, not like what? He goes, well, we don't really need one. We make the same amount of money, and I would never want to put her in that position. And then we got into it, and I was like, do you have a financial advisor? Yes. Do you have a family lawyer? Yes. Do you have a trust? Yes. So why are you looking at this any differently than what it is, which is a financial contract?
yep.
And of course, he was like, well, if I bring it up to my fiance like that, and I was like, have you tried? No. So it's all
That's
these taboos still.
There's so many taboos, but I also really think it's who you're talking to. So I'm getting married in November. I want to say we're negotiating our prenup. We're not. We talked about everything. We went out and got our own lawyers. I have a great lawyer. I think you know him, James
Yes.
Texman. He's fabulous. Can't
Which
recommend him enough.
can't wait to get him on the pod eventually.
He's exactly how he is when you see him do any of his videos on
Yeah.
TikTok or Instagram. That's how he is in person.
I love it.
Can't say enough good things about James. But we talked about a prenup on our first date. I, I'm 30. I'm gonna blow my own spot up here. I'm 37. I like to say that Scott is 38. He is older than me. Even if he just turned 38, he's older than me. But we're on our first date. We're talking about different things. And I think I'm the one that brought it up. I was like, it's really important to me that whoever I'm with understands we're getting a prenup. And he goes, oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Now, later come to find out that the reason he wants a prenup is because he has the financial advisor.
Yeah.
He has the family attorney. He has the trust. Like everything's already sort of set up. And I was like, oh, I thought I was special. I thought that was
Like,
me.
I actually thought that I was the one showing up to be like, boom.
Boom. And I was not,
Like,
it was
this
not
is
me.
great. I can't wait.
He
Love
was
the
like, this is
romantic.
great. Who's your financial advisor? And I was like, I haven't talked to her in a really long time.
I love this.
So we very much looked at it like it forces you to talk about all the big things.
Yeah.
Right away. Not right away, but like early on. So I jokingly said to you before that Scott was like, we need to talk about a budget. And I was like, I hate that word.
But also,
It's important to understand how you both sort of look at and deal with money. And I will tell you from the beginning, we looked at it and dealt with it in very different ways. I like to always tell him, I go, you're cheap. It's okay. You're cheap. And that's exactly how I say it.
and he's like, okay,
And he's
so
like,
much, but
he's like, I'm not cheap. I'm like, you're cheap.
he's like,
But like, I get it. Like you were looking
I
at,
also love that you guys can actually kind of have this funny rapport with each other about it, because I think there's so many couples who, instead of having that, just don't talk to each other about finances, and or it becomes this weird resentment and or lack of communication, or it's a surface level, right? Like, it's, let's band-aid it, we'll split everything 50-50, and we'll see what washes out in the end.
yeah. Or you have the people that are just, I mean, different strokes for different folks. Everyone's going to do what works for them. But I know people that split it literally by if the one partner makes 40% more than the other partner, that's how they're splitting everything. Right down to how they'll split expenses for the kids. And if one partner doesn't think something's necessary for the kids, they're like, well, that's your thing. I'm not participating in this. And I'm kind of like, that's a way, if you agree beforehand, let me be clear. Anything you agree to that you guys
Before.
want to stick to that
Yeah.
beforehand, go off. Be you. I'm here for it. It doesn't mean it'll work for me or you or anyone else. But if that's what works for you, great. But if you don't talk about it, if I just woke up on November 16th, because I'm getting married on the 15th, do I just assume that like how I've gone through my life as a 30-something attorney in New York City all this time is just going to fly as like a married entity? Like,
No.
I don't
Well,
know,
compromise.
because Scott's going to be like, why do you have to get your nails done every 2 weeks? Like, what's happening here?
Feel like it's part of my budget. But yeah, but it's
But
true.
it is, it's part of my budget. And I told him, I was like, these are my monthly expenses. And I've gotten very good with my monthly expenses because there was a writer's strike a year ago where I was out of work for 7 months. You know what? Really didn't rack up any debt. I managed to do everything I needed to do. Granted, I still had another job, but like,
Yeah, but you handled it.
but you handle it. But if we didn't talk about any of this and I just showed up and I was like, okay, so every month I have a waxing appointment, and every 3 months I have a hair appointment, and every 3 weeks I get my nails done. Scott would be like, what?
It is so
Where is all this
interesting, though.
coming from?
Yeah, but what's also funny to me about I love that you're saying this because I do think that a lot of people don't understand, men especially, how much actually goes into this. Like, I'm pretty chill. Or I like
Mind you, I just spent the last 20 minutes watching her get ready.
I like yes, right? I
Yes,
like
you're
to
pretty chill.
think I'm pretty chill. Like I don't, I get a haircut twice a year.
Because you have this gorgeous, thick, amazing
Well,
hair.
it's because I'm lazy, but and I can't sit in the chair for that long. It's so long. But like little things like this, but people, men, okay. They're like, oh, you have to go get your nails done. Why can't you just do that at home? It's like,
I can't do this at home. Can you do that at home?
no,
I did it during
no,
COVID because I was forced to.
no.
I did not enjoy the process at all. Let me be,
But we have to get our hair done. We have to buy makeup so no one can see our under eye circles because we're always tired.
because we're always stressed because we
Yeah.
live in the most stressful place on the planet.
We need to get facials because there's this thing called hormones. Like there are all these little things that I just don't. It doesn't clock sometimes, and they're not actually that insane, right? Like you and I aren't going and getting like laser treatments every month
No.
or getting the salmon sperm facials every quarter. Oh, it's a thing. I just learned about it in
Is it like
Korea.
a Kim Kardashian?
Yes, it
Okay.
is. They showed me photos in Korea and I did not get it because it actually made me like want.
I did see this weird thing coming out of Korea where they like, it's not FDA approved here. They inject you, you look like Avatar for a minute. It gets like all bumpy.
I mean, whatever they showed me when I was in Korea as the thing to get, I looked at the woman and I was like, "Are you sure?" She goes, "Well, what's your pain tolerance?" I said, "Not that." And that was
Not
that.
that. Whatever you just said, no.
I was like, "I love a massage." But it is crazy. Like I also think a lot of men do not realize how much monthly goes into just
Existing.
being a woman.
Existing. Yeah. Throw a box of tampons in there. Let me know what your grocery bill is.
They're up, by the way. I went to buy
I know.
tampons the other day and I was like, I'm sorry, excuse me?
And it's like, I remember years ago when I was in law school, pink tax was like a big thing. And then it just sort of disappeared.
Yeah,
I'd
why
like
aren't we
to bring it
talking
back.
about
Why
it?
aren't we talking about it?
Why aren't we talking?
I have questions.
Where'd it go? Because it's still affecting me.
Let's talk about it. You know how like
Talk
New
about
Jersey,
Dwayne Reed in New York City. You want to know how much a box of tampons is there? I will fight you. Like it is horrible.
like, you know how in New Jersey they don't do tax on clothing under like $100.
I didn't know this, but that's amazing to know.
I think
Should we
that's
go to
the
New
case.
Jersey more?
Yeah, we should go to New Jersey more. Said no New York or whatever. But I think that should be the rule on like women's products.
Yes.
Like I didn't choose this life. This life was thrust upon me, and here I am just living in it. I think it's important to know what goes into this because it's not like, oh, hey, she's just worried about her living expenses or the fact that like I'm on a weird streaming kick at the moment. And he's like, oh my God, her grocery bill's like $25 a week. This is amazing. I'm going to save money being with her. No, it's not just my apartment, my car, whatever. It's a monthly waxing appointment. It's the doctor. It's the dentist for whatever I have going on. Like I did have to tell him up front, all right, here's a secret, universe. I broke my 2 front teeth when I was little. So for the longest time, I had
Talking.
crowns or veneers. And recently, my dentist was like, "Yeah, the veneers aren't going to stick anymore. You broke your teeth; they're so short. Like, we're going to have to do crowns." So I had to do crowns. I had to tell Scott, like, I'm only 30. At the time I was 36. I'm only 36. Just so you know, this is going to be an expense in the future. And I don't want to hear anything about it. These are my front teeth. These are my people teeth.
These are my people teeth.
These are my showing teeth.
But it's true.
But like, how terrible would it be if in 10 years something happened and I'm going to him with a $10,000 dental bill?
Yeah.
And he's like, what is this even
Yeah.
like? No, did I put something insane in my prenup? And don't even think I didn't think about it.
Tell me.
Here's your dental costs. I didn't do that. But the thing with him is I do trust him enough to know that that won't be a thing.
Yeah.
But like every once in a while when I'm like, no, I'm just on one. I'm like,
Also, when you have you're like, you're very good about the details.
yeah, I do like my details.
You like details. So it's like, I get it. I completely understand.
Like, I'll joke with him and be like, "Try me. I'll put a household support clause in that prenup so fast." So, household support prenup, and a prenup attorney can tell you this better than I can, is that essentially states that, like, you get like a housekeeper or a nanny or whatever you need, a landscaper, whatever you going on at your house will be
Mhm.
taken care of. And I suggested it, and Scott was like, "Hillary, what are we doing here? Do you not trust me that much?" And it wasn't that. It was just I'm used to certain things, and if I provide them for myself, I wanna make sure that they continue.
But I get that and I understand that. And I think, well, okay. So actually, something I really do want to talk about because I love James Sexton. I think
He's
we,
so
so
wonderful.
you're going to laugh. I have a really good friend who, was a partner at a really like one of the big five consulting firms, all that. And when I said I was starting this business years ago, like probably like when the idea like came to fruition, it's like, oh my God, have you heard of this guy named James Sexton? I was like, no, send
Podcast
me,
such a
send
great
me.
name too.
Yes. I mean, come on. It's so easy. It just falls off the tongue. But what was so cute and funny was he sent me his video. And then I was like, wait, I get it. Men identify with this man so much. Women too, but men. Like this
He's a
is
man's man.
he is a man's
That's how
man.
yeah.
And I love it. And I think that to hear some of his perspectives, like one of my favorite things that he ever said was, I don't know whose pod it was on, but he was like, you know, cheating's like chocolate. Do I want chocolate every day? Yeah. Like, do I want it for breakfast? Yeah. But like, am I going to eat chocolate every day for breakfast? No, because chocolate every day for breakfast is bad for you. And he's just like the way he tees things up make me laugh so much, but also he takes serious things and makes them
Relatable.
digestible.
Yeah.
Totally. And so I'm so curious as to like what your experience with him has been as a lawyer instead of a TV personality or a Instagram personality or a YouTube personality, because I will say I'm so appreciative of him because I do have some friends that I couldn't get across to. And then I sent them some of his videos and they're like, oh, I get it now, especially men.
Yeah. So for me, coming into this as a lawyer, it's so funny. One of the first times I met Scott's parents, we were talking about something, and his dad just goes, "When you guys do a prenup, she's gonna get a good lawyer. Like she's a lawyer. Like she's a good lawyer. Like she's gonna get a good one." I was like, "I'm gonna get a good one too. Like it's fine." And I just laughed because the first thing I thought of was, "Yeah, I probably am," because I know what the basics are. I know what should be in it. I know what's like the bullet points that you want to hit.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of things go into a prenup, and it's case by case.
Hmm.
Where you never know what's kind of come up in the future. You don't know if you're going to end up caring for a family member, or if you're going to waive alimony or keep alimony. Like you don't know those things
Yes.
right away. So my personal advice, this is not legal advice. I'm not acting as an attorney at the moment, is look at every sort of look at every contingency.
Okay.
And I think James is really great about that because he looks at it like, look, this is not adversarial. I just talked to him last week because I wanted to just talk about a couple things. I knew he was going to talk to Scott's attorney. I wanted
On the same page.
on the same page.
Yeah.
But briefly, because I will tell you, attorneys, we do tend to charge frequently. We bill he bills every 8 minutes, I think. I
Damn.
bill 15. Limit the niceties. I always laugh and I'm like, oh, you just call your attorney and like talk about your week. Like, are you insane? You're getting charged for that. Just keep that in mind.
I learned the hard way. Feel you.
Yes. This
Yep.
is my advice. If you take one thing away from this podcast, other than if you live with someone, have something in writing, make sure that if you talk to an attorney, just keep it brief. And I do it, like, even in emails, I'm like, I'm going to keep this very brief. These things are the things that are important.
I'm laughing because I'm like the least brief person ever. And I remember I was on the phone one day with my attorney when I was doing my thing. And I was like, how was your week? Oh my gosh, you live in XYZ in New Jersey. I have friends that live there. And it was so funny because he was trying to like cut me off. And in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm going to try harder because I want to be this guy's friend. And then I got off the phone and one of my friends was in the car with me. And she was like, you realized he was trying to like cut you off because he didn't want to charge you for more minutes. And of course, you took that as a, no, let me dig deeper. Like
Let me try harder.
this was not a dig deeper moment, Lily. This was him trying so hard with you to set boundaries and you were just ripping through them.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is why we need this. Like, we need solutions that are not what exists in the marketplace right now.
Which is why, like, so back to
Yeah.
James. My experience with James has been absolutely wonderful.
Good.
He professionally is exactly who you see in all of his videos. I like it when people are who they are.
Yeah.
And, he said right away, this is not adversarial. We're coming into this, we're on the same page, same place. You guys have talked about
It's a
everything.
negotiation, not a litigation. And this is what I
Yeah.
always say about, I think so many people have a misconception between a prenup and a divorce, where it's like a prenup is a negotiation for a contract that you're entering into. It should not be a battle.
Yeah.
It is like, these are the things we should have talked about anyway before getting married. So let's talk about them and just write them up. Whereas divorce, it is an actual litigation, divisiveness in a way.
It is. We're at different ends. I want this, you want this, and you don't want me to have this. That's I, adversarial is not even the word I would use. I've seen, and I'm sure you have seen. I mean, we're millennials, right? Like we've seen terrible,
Ugh.
like truly, just oof. You
Best
look at
people turn into the worst versions of
yeah, you look
themselves.
at them and you're like, you loved this person at some point. Like at some point in time, you loved this human, and you are hell bent on wrecking everything, and you don't care who you destroy in the way. Like you just don't. James has been great. I'm so happy. I, he's like, so I'm going to talk to him. I'm like, great. Talk to him. You need to talk to me. Let me know. I don't care.
Tell me what you need.
Tell me what.
Tell me what I need.
Tell me what I need to sign. Like I'm good. And he's very clear with you. Like he's upfront. He's responsive. It's great. He
Were there
doesn't.
any things that like because you are a lawyer and I know you're very astute, and I love one of the first things when you and I met that I really appreciated is you have such good candor, but you're also very clear and like exactly you get to the point pretty quickly. Were there things within conversations of doing your prenup that you had not foreseen, like of certain areas of negotiation? Were you like, oh, I didn't even think about that?
Yeah, there were there are things you don't think about. Like let's say I take time off of work. I understand that that's going to limit my income potential because when I go back into the workforce, I'm coming in where I left. Like I'm not at
Yep.
the same level anymore. Um, I didn't really consider how big of a deal that is, which is wild from someone who's been in this their whole life. And I also didn't think about insurance. Like if I'm on his insurance and we get a divorce, what do I do? Or if I don't know, maybe Scott. I mean, I think Scott is very good at what he does. I think he's brilliant. And if we get to a point where I don't work and
Yeah.
I'm with the kids, and now what do
What does that
I
look like?
what does that look like if all of a sudden I'm not doing that?
Have you been able to have conversations about like what that looks like in terms of like, will he contribute to 401k for you or will he set money aside or like for you to give up your potential earnings? Like, what does that look like?
So it's very interesting. My biggest thing in all this, and I think it came as a bit of a shock, was he was like, "Yeah, yeah, like this should be pretty straightforward, pretty easy. You're not looking for like alimony or a trust carve out." And I was like, mm, "Mm-mm. I never said that. I could care less about your trust. Do whatever. I never said I was waiving alimony
Yeah, because also if you do decide to stay home with the kids,
because I don't, and that's just it. Like I don't know if I'm gonna ask for it or not. I don't. What I do know is it's insane to say no to something or to waive something when you don't know what that future looks like.
totally.
You want to leave it on the table so that it can be a future negotiation. But if you decide right now in this moment, I'm not doing this, and you sign that, great. I really hope you're happy with that decision in 15 years. Because you could wake up, not even 15, maybe you wake up in 7 years and you've got a couple toddlers and you're home and your husband walks in and is like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm a cliche and I'm sleeping with my secretary. Bye. My assistant. Like, toodles. So I do think it's really important to talk about that
Mhm.
because if all of a sudden this is coming up when you guys already don't like each other anymore, or when someone's already decided I'm done, now you're not having a level headed conversation about this. Now you're having a very emotional
Yep.
conversation about this. And I think we're all at the point where most of us know you don't make decisions when you're emotional. The best time, I think, to make any decision is when you're in a great place.
Yep.
We're in a great place. I don't, and I tell them this, the only way I see this ending is if one of us cheats. And since I don't like anybody touching me, that's unlikely. And since you generally don't want people around, that's also unlikely.
But it really is one of these things where like I some of the best couples I know happens, right?
You don't,
And I just the other night, this one person I was talking to, I was like, if there is a 50 some percent chance that when you walk out the door today, like a Mack truck might hit you, would you get life insurance? He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, so it's the same thing with a prenup of if there is a possibility that you are going to get hit by a Mack truck in your marriage, you could be marrying the sweetest, kindest, most wonderful, loving, engaging, charming, well to do, everything that checks your
she never does
list.
anything wrong. She doesn't even sweat.
Nope. Nope. She glistens, as my mom says. She glistens. I'm like, Mom, I'm straight
That's
up
what my friends say
sweating.
to me. They're
How's
like,
like
you
you're
don't sweat, you
glistening? I'm
glisten.
like, no, I am dripping. Life happens. And it's so wild to me how so many smart people can be so naive in this one area of their life. And I hate that other people think that it's unromantic, where what you said earlier really resonates is when you love each other, you want to do the best thing for that person. And right now, that's what you're doing is you're saying, I love you so much that I want to set you up that if something shitty were to happen, this is what it would look like.
You giving the play. It's not that I'm sitting there or Scott's sitting there or we're sitting there saying, you know what, if this doesn't work out, it's totally fine because we have this document and we've already figured everything out. No. What I'm saying is life happens. You need, and in all things, you prepare for the worst case scenario. If I just read in the New York Times on Sunday, they're talking about all the flooding in South Carolina, but
Yeah.
like real estate, it's still a super hot market. So I and my partner, my business partner, Alexa, will attest to this. I like to say my insurance has insurance, which is a thing. It's called umbrella. Look into it. But gives me anxiety. Think about living in a place where getting homeowners insurance is difficult. Like we're looking on the North Shore and I'm like, this is a flood zone.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be difficult and it's only going to get harder. So when I read this article in the New York Times about the real estate in South Carolina and how it keeps flooding, but it's still a really hot real estate market, you wouldn't buy a house in South Carolina right now in Charleston. You're not going to spend $2 to $3 million on a home there and not have flood insurance because that would be insane. That would be insane. So why are you joining your life with someone, buying a home or property or renting, if you live in a city, renting an apartment and having children and you're not going to have anything in place in case. My feeling on insurance is it really should, in all aspects, be just called in case shit happens.
In
And
case
I would
happens.
love to tell
What if happens?
like travelers, if you're listening, if shit doesn't happen, I want my money back. But like, what are you? I get it. It's not romantic, but this is your life.
Yeah.
And if you have children, this is your children's life. Or I'm a
Maybe
dog.
it's honestly the most romantic person, like, who does it, right? Who's like, "Hey, I love you so much. Let's lay it out."
I love you so much. Scott, you love me so much. Tell me about all the life insurance you're going to get.
You also just said something. You're a dog person.
I'm a dog person. So for me, when we were building a closet and we were talking about cohabitation
Yes.
agreements and roommate agreements, we have very specific pet clauses because that matters. Let's say I am not married to Scott. We're just going to live together, but we get a dog because I want a dog. It's actually like a big part of what we're doing. I keep sending him photos. I'm just like, I would like a giant schnauzer. And he's like, why do you want a giant schnauzer?
Oh
And I grew up with labs, but he is allergic. So even though he takes shots,
my gosh,
still need
I have the
something.
best rescue for you that does doodles, but they're like all hypoallergenic rescues. And
That's just it. We need a hypoallergenic.
yeah, I will help you find a hypoallergenic rescue. That is what I go down a rabbit hole in.
But like, I like a bigger dog.
Yeah.
I don't mind the little dogs. They're not necessarily what I would like in my home.
You guys will agree on a dog.
We will agree on a dog, but we're gonna get a dog. Anyone that owns any pet, cat, dog, bird, whatever you have,
Iguana.
iguana. I do know somebody who had iguana. It was so freaky. It would get loose all the time. It just scared the whole neighborhood.
No.
Because you would hear them say, like, has anyone seen my iguana? And I lived not even in the suburbs. I lived in a farming community. My parents are not farmers, but like a developed farming community. You would hear them say, like, our iguana's out, and now we're all looking for this green iguana in green grass, and it's
No.
I don't like scaly.
I want to know who got the iguana in the divorce. No, I'm just kidding. Who got the iguana?
That's a really good
It's actually
question.
the thing you didn't
Get a
want.
divorce, so I am curious as to who got the
I
iguana
can't wait
now.
for you to come back and let me know who got the iguana.
I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna
Who
leave and be
got
like,
the
"Mom,
iguana?
when they got a divorce, who got the iguana?"
It's a real big question.
Right.
That's the $1 million question.
I feel like the parents got the iguana
Oh
because
my
the
gosh.
iguana was always at their house. So,
Kind of like a dog sometimes.
but like,
You tell me.
every
Yeah.
animal comes with
Responsibility.
responsibilities. There's vet bills, there's insurance, because now finally everyone got on board and realized that like pets are a thing. They're family.
They
Our
also
pets,
break everything.
they break everything.
ACLs, all of it.
They need physical therapy or
Mhm.
laser treatments. And, a lot of treatments that eventually come to us get tried on them first.
Yeah.
So, what does that look like? If you have a pet and you live with someone or you're married and you get a divorce, what are you doing? And everyone talks about, oh, we're going to co parent. What does that look like? In my cohabitation agreements that I built out with Alexa, we're very specific on that. You
Yeah.
can choose, like, oh, one person is in charge. We're splitting it percent. You can decide your percentages
Mhm.
yourself. Um, or if you're a roommate, because we are launching our roommate agreements first, it's, hey, your dog just destroyed my shoes. They were in my room. They were not in a common area. You owe me new shoes. Fine. But how can you have this thing in your home, this living being in your home that you love, and not think about its future? Forget your future. Let's take
Totally.
a moment and be like the crazy dog person that I am, where I know every dog in my building and I could tell you maybe 2 owners' names.
That was like me at the dog park. Yep.
Yeah. No. I know every dog in my building. I know
You're George's dad.
I know Henry's mom,
Mhm.
and I know Sonny's mom and dad. And that's only because I attack them every time I see them. And I finally was like, "What's your phone number so I can text her a play date?" They were like, I was like, "With your dog." Let me be very clear.
Yeah, they're like, "You swing?" You're like, "No, dogs,
Dogs.
dogs."
And not like, how could you have that living being in your home and not think about
Yeah.
its future? Because pet insurance is great, but it doesn't cover a whole lot.
No,
No, it doesn't. I've had
Surface
friends
value.
that have opened up credit cards because their dog needed an emergency surgery. So
So, okay. So you're getting married very soon.
I am. Actually today marks 60 days till my wedding.
And so that means you have to finish your prenup soon.
Yes. So a big rule of thumb is you have to get it signed, I think, at least 30 days before your wedding. Anything sooner can be considered coercive, which basically means we're not getting married unless you sign this. When you're out in New York City, close to or between 100 and $200,000 on a wedding here, which is insane, or more. But like you're starting right around,
That's the starter, which
yeah,
is
that's
insane, by the way. That's
oh,
a,
it's
we could.
we could do a whole podcast on that.
I actually just said today, I posted a TikTok that was like, I wish I could take the budgets for everybody's weddings that's gotten divorced in the past like 5 years and cross like analysis it, right? Of how much did you spend on your wedding versus how much you spent on your
Well,
divorce?
think about that. People will spend.
Hundreds.
I know people that have spent $300,000 and $400,000 on a wedding.
And they
You
don't
don't
want to
want
do
to spend
$25,000 on a prenup.
25,000 on a prenup. Well, that's actually how closet. I mean, it came about because of what happened to my partner, but we also looked at it like democratizing agreements. If you
Yeah.
go to a lawyer and you want a cohabitation agreement, I think if you check off every single box on our cohabitation agreement, you're looking at a 45-page agreement, which accounts for financial contributions to a residence by family, pets, children that aren't necessarily biological. It accounts for a lot of things. If you go to an attorney for that, you're looking at what, six to $20,000?
Yeah. Whatever they're charging per hour, it adds up.
Yeah. And your basic charge per hour is gonna be starting around 250. Go up there. Most lawyers I think do this on like a retainer.
Hmm.
Um,
But it adds
but
up.
you'll spend 300 to 400. Think about that. I know people that spend $400,000 on their wedding and don't have a prenup. What are we doing? And we all know the people that are like, "Oh, well, he has a trust fund, so I don't want a prenup because I'm gonna take him for everything he's worth." First of all, don't get married if that's your attitude, 'cause it's not gonna work. Second of all, you're not getting anything because newsflash, he doesn't have money. If that's how she doesn't have money, doesn't matter who has that fund, neither one of them have money. It's not theirs. You'll walk away with nothing,
People are
which if
so
that's how you go
uninformed.
into it, you deserve.
Yeah, that's the other thing is people are so uninformed. Like that to me, I think is one of the biggest learning lessons of this past year is when I like set off to create this what if, which was the original idea for this direct to consumer prenup. I was like, oh, if we build this great product, everyone's going to come and get it. No, joke's on me is that people are still uncomfortable talking about it. People still don't understand how to navigate it. People still don't clearly understand what is like left, right, and center.
Mhm.
A lot of people still don't even understand what alimony is. People don't understand what spousal support is. And I think I've been really spoiled in a way, right? Where I talk to so many attorneys and then also friends that have gone through divorces recently that I have this like great knowledge base. But the average couple that is going to get married today does not even understand what they're
Yeah.
doing.
I remember when you and I first started talking about this, I mentioned that I had a friend that called me whispering. Whispering.
Yeah, this is wild.
Who whispers on the phone? Like, the only reason I'm whispering on the phone is if I'm like calling Ariel.
This was
What?
wild to me. I was like,
Like, you wouldn't believe what I just saw. But I had a friend who was secret squirreling it on the phone. And she's telling me, I have a problem. My husband and I just bought a new apartment. I'm like, congratulations. That's amazing. What's the problem? He doesn't want to put my name on the deed. What do you mean? You're buying it. Like the two of you are buying it. What do you mean he's not putting you on the deed? Well, my parents own a property that's also in my name. It's for me, but there's still a mortgage on it. And he's telling me that in the event that they don't pay the mortgage, that if my name is on the deed with him, they'll come after him and I for the money. And I was like, first of all, as someone who generally doesn't like budgets, bankers, or anything like that, even I know that's not how this works. And I was like, what do you want from me right now?
Yeah, like, how can I
Like, how
help?
can I assist you? And she's like, well, what do I do?
Oh,
I'm like, you talk to him. Like, that's insane to take, especially in, I think, and we keep saying this, like, especially in New York, especially in New York. Well, that's where we live. But in New York, we know real estate's gold. I mean, you just, you get it, you hold on to it, and you don't let it go. And I said to her, that's insane to take your money, to take your name off of real estate is,
no.
that's insane. Like, I've never heard of anything like that. Like, you need to talk to him. Well, I'm uncomfortable. You've had children with this man, like a natural birth. And a natural birth, we all know, is not pretty. They don't. Another thing people don't talk about, FYI, natural birth. No one wants to talk about how you can poop on the table. Okay, but it can happen.
But it's like even
I've heard.
before that, right? Like if you're having sex with someone and you can't talk about your financial because that makes you uncomfortable,
That's insane.
like you're either having really bad sex or like
You're not in a good place. Like,
talk about it.
I mean,
I will say, in some people's defense, that means you're probably with the wrong person if you can't talk about it. Because I will say this, like I should have pushed harder in my last relationship to talk about finances, but I didn't want to make the person I was with insecure.
okay.
And I look back and I'm like, never again, never again. But you get blinders on because to your point, and to the whole reason we're doing this pod is to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like this should not be uncomfortable, but
Mhm.
we as a society have made it so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
How do
we've
we?
made it one of those things that it's just something you don't talk about. Not those are those things.
And what's
But
crazy
people
is
will gossip about
everyone.
it. People will gossip about it.
Totally.
Like, if you get a group of people together and
Everyone
something
else will talk about your finances for you.
something and you just got laid off, oh, everyone's talking about you for you. Don't you worry about it. Everyone's talking about you. But or was my favorite. When I was in high school, you could always see it. Like the people whose grandparents had just passed, and all of a sudden, then the parents are joining the country clubs and getting the boats and going to Turks and Caicos and Hilton
Yeah.
Head and all those things. And it's like, oh, well, they're going because so and so died. Who can like what? We're all going to talk about this. I will say the best thing that came out of one of the chief lessons I learned in my high school is how important a prenup is.
Truly though. And
And
then
you
I went to,
learn very quickly
yeah,
when you're in certain places. But it's one of those things where it shouldn't be just certain people know about this. It needs to be democratized. It needs to. I will never understand ever. Okay, this was a big thing during COVID.
yes.
We're pivoting here to joint ownership.
Okay.
Joint ownership became a big thing during COVID, where you would see like siblings and friends buy property together. And I love to
Uh,
watch. I'm one of those people that like I watch America's Sweethearts because I like to see them cry. Okay.
done.
First of all, I do love the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Don't come at me. Please, Charlotte Jones, leave me alone. I do love you guys. I talk about you in PT all the time. It's a real sport. The girls put in a lot of effort. It's hard. I couldn't do it. But like I like watching them cry. I'm like one of those people that like
That's
let me
why it
watch the
exists.
misery.
That's why it exists. You're the perfect target.
So I love to watch families that own property together, like on HGTV, just fall apart. It's my favorite thing. Because I'm like, how did you think buying a lake house with 3 couples was going to work with nothing in writing? And also, the lender, what were you thinking? Because you've got to get paid at some, like,
Yeah.
3 people are splitting this payment. And all of a sudden, one decides, well, I never get to use it. And I had to do all this work. And I'm not paying anymore. Newsflash, Chase doesn't care. And Chase wants its money.
Your banker gives no.
Your banker gives $0. Okay. No one at Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, none of them care about your petty problems. They're sitting there saying, hey, your payment was due on the 27th
Where
and
is
you're
it?
late. Well, no, we're not late. No, no, you're 2,500 short because so like Josh and Joe forgot to pay. Oh, well, they didn't forget to pay. They don't want to do this anymore. But like, you have nothing in writing. So it's all great that going into this, you were like, it's going to be so much fun. We're all going to have the lake house. We're all going to hang out all the time. But what do you do when all of a sudden your kids are 16 and 17 and they want to go to the lake house on a weekend that the other couple wants to be
Yeah.
there? Or the other couple's doing all
How do
this
you
work
navigate
on it.
this?
Like, how do you navigate that if you have nothing in writing? Like, have a playbook. That's how I look at my prenup. I look at it as a playbook.
Yeah.
It's something that, like, if the worst happens, we have
We're
something to
set.
navigate. Or if something happens that one of us doesn't like, we can be like, hey, this was mentioned. This was discussed.
Yeah.
We already talked about it.
Go
It's
back
in
to the
writing.
foundation.
Let's go back to this. And if we have a problem with it, we can go talk to somebody.
Totally.
But I think it really does, to your point, comes down to it's taboo. People don't want to talk about it. And in a society where we talk about everything,
Well, one of my
I am
favorites,
so confused.
and Hillary was saying this, she actually texted me. So these hats that I got made, I got them made before I launched anything. And I always joke that it's the most fun thing to wear because
It is. I got a lot of questions about it today when I was
people
leaving.
either look at you like you're insane or they burst out laughing. It's like one or the other. And I love it because either way, it creates, it ignites this like
A reaction.
moment. And a lot of people, I think at first think it's this like pen or it's like a college so that you can get more tricked because they're like, wait, what? And yeah, it's like my cousin texted me today. He goes, hey, I hope you don't mind, but I was in the elevator and this guy who's a lawyer in my building wanted to know where I got the hat. And I told him from you and he wants to meet with you. Like, can I connect you? I was like, yes, of course. But it is one of these things where it's people need to normalize prenups.
Hmm. In any living situation, you need to normalize having a written agreement.
Yes, yes,
I think
yes.
that when you go to college, I don't think kids today, frankly, I don't think when we were in college, kids knew how to live together. I know that I had roommates where I was like, oh, we're bringing feral cats home? Okay.
We have how many more months?
That's a vibe. Like, what is
Oh
happening?
my God.
But no one knows how to live with other people. So you have
Yeah.
to normalize having a written agreement in place. And if you, anytime you live together, if you
Yeah.
start early, like if we start in college, right? And I'm going to plug Closet one more time.
Please do.
Closet, that's where we're launching. We're launching with roommate agreements.
I love it.
Originally, it was cohabitation, but after October 7th, and we saw what was just happening on college campuses,
Mm-hmm.
businesses were being torn down, and people were being thrown out of their dorms and their
Mm-hmm.
apartments. We pivoted and we were like, you know what? Let's go after a roommate agreement first because
Well, because cohabitation is roommates until you're
cohabitation
married.
is roommates. And
Until you're married.
if you get used to it early, if like
Yeah.
if you are get introduced to that in college, like you are agreeing to the following. You are agreeing to quiet hours. You are agreeing to these guest rules, these parking rules. You are agreeing to acknowledge that your roommate observes the Sabbath or your roommate is
Whatever it
Muslim and
is.
prays. Whatever it is, you're agreeing to it.
And you're respecting it.
You respect it. And you understand that when you violate that, there are consequences, be it financial, or you have to go to a training, or you lose your housing. It doesn't become taboo.
Yeah.
It becomes normal. This is what we did in college. When we left college and we had roommates, we had roommate agreements. When we
I
left
love
that and
that.
we moved in with partners, we had cohabitation agreements. We had joint ownership agreements. And then you get into a prenup.
I'm
And then it's
so excited to
normal.
use Closet the next time I move in with someone so I don't leave my coffee table.
You could have put that in. There are whole things for
Oh,
that.
man. Okay. On that note, we are going to end how I end all the podcasts.
Oh, tarot cards. Yes.
So this is my friend Zoe's in like saying they're kind of like tarot cards, they're energy cards. I'm obsessed with them.
Okay.
I came into these in a really like funny time in my life. My friend Val, who started this group out in the Hamptons, was the one that introduced me to her and these cards, and they're a total vibe. So I like to end each of the recordings with we're gonna find your vibe for the week.
Ooh, radical.
Radical.
Hey, hey. I'll take it.
Okay. Here, I'm going to hold on to your card. Let's read it.
Let's read it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. Radical. You are not called here to conform, but to stand out. This is so on brand. Okay. So much of our lives are steeped in obligation and routine. We forget to be silly and that we are innately unique. Perhaps it's time to wear that wild outfit, apply for an artist residency, or be more bold in writing or lipstick choices. However, this resonates, the key is not to follow the pack. You are ready to resist obedience and subservience. It's time to move into a season of authentic, courageous expression.
I think anyone that knows me really well would tell you that this is 1,000% on brand.
I love this so much.
I don't conform. I do what I want.
And this is good. It's just a reminder to keep doing it. I love
I'm
this.
going to. Scott's going to be like, please don't do this to me anymore.
No, this is the best.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
I'm so
I
happy
love
to
what
be
you're
here.
doing.